Iris. Yes, Roni. What is the function performed by the iris of the human eye? Gauri, you will be telling me about the type of pigment that is found in the iris. The name of the pigment that is found in the iris. And Chakrika, you will let me know about the what is the shape of the lens of the human eye. I suppose I'm audible to everyone.
Yes.
The shape of the lens of the human eye?
Repeat again.
Sir, what was my question again?
You had to tell me about the shape of the lens of the human's eye.
Okay.
And Alif, you will let me know about the what do we call the front bulging portion. Alif is not here. 1 minute. So Alif, your question is that you have to tell me about the what do we call the front bulging portion of the human eye. That front bulging portion of the human eye, what do we call that? Yes. None of you have answered so far. Yes, Chakrika?
Sir, I have a doubt in the question. What do you mean by the shape?
Shape, I mean to say whether it is concave shape or convex shape.
Sir, it's convex.
Convex, good. Alif, you have to tell me about what do we call the front bulging portion of the human eye. What do we call that?
Cornea.
It's cornea. Okay, cornea. Good. Yes, Gauri. What do we call that pigment that is found in the iris?
Some melanin something.
It's melanin. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Roni, you also had a question. You had to tell me about the function of the iris. Yes. Okay. Anyone who knows the function of the iris? Yes or no?
It regulates the amount of light entering in our eyes.
Exactly. So the amount of light that will be entering into the human eye, it will be controlled by the iris muscles of the iris. Okay. So basically, it will control the size of the pupil. Where have you sent the answers? I suppose, Roni, you have sent the answer on the wrong ID, I suppose, because I didn't look at it. Okay, anyways. Let's continue further. So today we are going to learn about the function of the retina, okay, no? Where the image formation will basically take place, right? So the retina has some sensitive cells. It has sensitive cells, namely it has two type of sensitive cells. They are called as the rod and the cone cells. They are the rod and the cone cells. So retina. Okay, there's one more thing. Like the last class we had, I had some difficulty in sharing the screenshots. So I will have to put it again in today's class. So let me just put the screenshots of these. Then we're going to continue further. Okay, same problem. So I will be sending it after the class then. Yes. So retina has some light sensitive cells called as rod and cone cells. Rod and cone cells. Okay. So when we look at the structure of the retina, so there you guys can see these some cells. You guys can spot some of the cells here. Okay, no. Particularly look at the cells that are present in this row. These are the rod. The one that is shown in the black and the gray color. These are the rod cells. Okay, and that will be activated in dim light or during the night. Okay, now these cells will be responsible for providing us night vision. Okay, particularly these cone cells that you are seeing here, these colorful cells that are visible here. So they are active, they are more sensitive towards the colorful light and the bright light. Getting it? So they will be responsible for giving us the vision of the colorful light. Okay, and they are sensitive towards bright light. But during the night, the rod cells will get activated. They will be responsible for providing us vision during the night. Getting it? What I'm trying to say? Okay, Khadija is here.
Yes, sir.
So why is everyone joining late in today's class? So that is one thing. Now there are some special animals, like for example, as we know about the owl. So do all have a good night vision, or are they more they have a better vision during the daytime?
They have better vision in daytime.
Daytime, no, it's
Night
actually
time.
during the night, no. Getting it? So that is one thing. Okay. Also, you guys tell me, there was one more thing which we have learned in the previous class. Like there's a fluid-like structure, fluid-like substance present between the eye lens and the retina. What do we call that fluid-like substance present between the eye lens and the retina? What's the name of that fluid?
Sir, it starts with C. The
No,
word
it starts with V. V actually.
Sir, can I spell it because I don't know how to pronounce it?
No issues. Spell it.
VITREOUS.
Exactly. That's the vitreous humor. Okay, no? So that is vitreous humor. Okay. There's also one more jelly-like fluid that is present between the cornea and the eye lens. What do we call that? It starts with A.
Aqueous humor, I think.
Exactly. That is aqueous humor. Okay, no? And we did also learn about the function of these jelly-like fluid that is present inside our eye, inside the eyeball. They will be responsible for maintaining the right amount of pressure inside the eyeball that is required. They will also be responsible for providing the nourishment to the eye. Okay, now also particularly we learned that they will be responsible for the refraction of the rays of the light. The vitreous humor and the aqueous humor, they are transparent. Okay, now, and they will be providing the required medium for the refraction of rays of light to take place. Got it, guys? That is one thing. Okay. So moments ago, I was telling you that there are some special animals in which more amount of rod cells will be found, and in some less amount of cone cells will be found. Particularly the animals that are more active during the night,
wool. So
like the
in insects also
which one?
like some insects also.
Yeah, in certain kind of insects also. So some kind of insects, some kind of all, certain kind of fishes also. Some kind of fishes, some type of insects. So they have a better vision during the night. As we know that these are called as nocturnal animals. We call them as the nocturnal animals. So in them, they have got more rod cells are present. More rod cells are found. We have learned about the function of the rod cells. They will be responsible for providing us the sense of vision during the night. Okay, no? That is one thing. So what will happen as the rays of light will be converging on this as the rays of light will be converging onto the surface of the retina, so these cells will get activated. These cells will get activated and electrical impulses will be produced here. What happens, guys? Electric
Electrical this.
exactly. So electrical impulses are produced, and via this optic nerve, this structure that we're seeing over here, this optic nerve, it will be transmitting those electrical impulses to the brain, and our brain will be interpreting that image. Okay, na? And a virtual image will be formed. Okay, will we call the image formed here a real image? The image formed by the human eye, do we call that a real or a virtual image?
Real image?
No. Can you obtain it on a
Virtual
screen?
image.
It's a virtual image, no? Since we can't obtain it on a screen, thereby it's a virtual image. Okay. Because in the case of the real image, what we know that we can obtain the real image on on a surface, on a screen. Okay. So that is something. Okay. So retina is basically kind of a screen on which the formation of the image is taking place here. It is behind the eye lens, and it's basically present in the back part of the human eye. Okay, the eye lens would be focusing the image of an object on the retina, right? Also, we are seeing that the retina is attached to the optic nerve here. This is the optic nerve to which the retina is attached. So our retina is attached to the optic nerve here. Okay, an optic nerve would be carrying the image form on the retina to the brain in the form of electrical impulses or electrical signals, basically. That is one thing. Okay, also we had learned that the liquid filled between the eye lens and the cornea, that is aqueous humor, and the jelly-like liquid filled between the eye lens and the retina, that is vitreous humor. Okay, and they also have some important role, but the basic thing we have learned that vitreous humor and the aqueous humor will be responsible for maintaining the right amount of pressure inside the human eye. Okay, that is one thing. So the working of the eye, I'm going to repeat it in short, and then we're going to continue with another topic. So what we have learned that whenever we are looking at an object, then the light rays are coming from that object. It will first enter into the cornea, and from the cornea it will go into the pupil of the eye, and from the pupil it will go into the eye lens. Take a look at this image once again. So first of all, light ray will pass by the cornea. By the cornea, it will go into the pupil, basically the opening into the iris. That is the opening, this which you're seeing over here. So the light rays will be entering into this, and the light rays will be passing via the eye lens, which is basically a convex lens. And what do we know about the convex lens? Will the convex lens be converging the rays of light, or will it diverge the rays of light?
Converging.
Converges, no? Exactly. So the rays of light will meet at the retina. Okay, and thereby an image will be produced. Okay, now, and actually what happens on the retina, an inverted image is formed. Say for example, if the candle is being placed like this, if the candle is placed in this manner, so the image that will be formed, it will be inverted like this. So on the retina, inverted image of the object is formed. Inverted image is formed. Okay, now further what we learned right now, that retina has large number of light sensitive cells. So these these light sensitive cells will get activated, and they will generate electrical impulses. Okay, and these electrical impulses will be sent to the brain via the optic nerve, and the brain will be processing these electrical signals in the form of an image, and the information to the brain that is being sent, the image that was formed on the retina it was inverted. Now the image that was formed on the retina, it was inverted, but your brain will be processing that as an erect image. Our brain interprets that image as an erect object. Getting it what I'm trying to say? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So that
sir.
is the case. Further, when you guys will take a look at the shape of the rod cells, so because of their shape, they are being named as rod. They are rod shaped structures. Okay, they are rod shaped structures which are present in the retina, and they are sensitive towards the dim light. Okay, so rod cells have rod shaped structure. Further, what we learned that they are sensitive to dim light. They are sensitive to the dim light. Okay, but however, although the rod cells are present in the retina, okay, they will not be providing you information about the color of the object. Like consider, for example, when you enter into a dark room in the night, are you able to identify the color of the objects that are put in the room if the light is gone, or if the bulb is switched off?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No. Getting it now. So the rod cells will not provide you information about sorry about the it will not provide you information about the color of the object. Okay, that is one thing. While discussing about the cone cells, what we have learned, you can take a look at the shape of the cone cells. Isn't it? Mhm.
Sir, actually, your voice is like cracking between.
Is the issue for everyone or only one of you is facing this issue? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I suppose there might be some network issue for you, Abdullah. Am I visible? Am I audible to you now or not properly?
Yes, you are audible now. Like sometimes your voice crack.
Okay, okay. I guess there might be some network issue from your side because if the network connectivity is slow from my side, everyone would be facing the same problem. Okay. Yeah. So talking about the cells, so take a look at the shape of these cells. Isn't it shaped like a cone? The front portion, the top portion. Yeah, it is shaped like a cone like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So cones are the cone-shaped cells that are present in the retina, and they are sensitive to the bright light, or basically to the normal light. Okay, so cone cells are cone-shaped cells. They are sensitive to bright light, or we can simply understand this as the normal light rays. Normal light. They will also be responsible for giving us the sensation of the color of objects. Okay, now you are able to look at the colorful world with the help of the cone cells. Okay, so they give us sensation of color of the objects also. Color of the objects also. So that is something. Now, when it is dim, when it is dark during the night, the cone cells will no longer be active. The cone cells will not be active during that time. At that time, which cells will be active during the night, particularly, or when we are in dark?
Rod cells.
Rods.
Exactly, that is the rod cells. So hope this discussion should be clear to everyone. Talking about the blind spot. So the place where the optic nerve is leaving the retina, this place over here, basically at the junction of the optic nerve and the retina in our eye. What happens here? At this place, there are no light sensitive cells. Neither rod cells are present nor the cone cells are present at the junction where the optic nerve and the retina is meeting, or where the optic nerve is leaving the retina. So rod and cone cells are absent. So will suppose if the rays of light that are passing through the lens, if it were to meet over here, if the rays of light were to converge at this place where the rays of light, where the optic nerve is leaving the retina, will the image formation take place here? Hmm? Since there are no light sensitive cells, rod and the cone cells are absent here. Huh? Right? So will there be formation of image?
No.
Obviously no. Getting it. We will learn a we will do a small activity also. So all of you keep a blank page with you. Okay, now take a blank page and a black pen if possible. We're going to do a small activity in the class today. First of all, let me write a small definition for it. So at the junction of the basically the meeting, basically the point where the retina and the optic nerve is meeting. Okay, so at the junction of the retina in the eye, there are no rod and cone cells. These are absent. Okay, due to which no vision is possible at that spot. Due to which no vision is possible at that spot. Okay, so if the rays of light were to converge at that point, the image formation will not take place. That is the case. Also, you can think of the blind spot as a small area where the where the optic nerve is leaving the eye. So we can also say in another terms that basically blind spot is a small area where the optic nerve leaves the retina. Where the optic nerve leaves the retina. Hope that should be clear to everyone so far. Okay. Now, in order to prove that this blind spot exists, we can do a small activity. You guys draw a rectangular on a blank sheet of paper like this. All of you do this. All of you will be required to do this. Draw a plus sign and mark a dot like this. All of you do this in your copies. There should be a minimum of about 7 centimeter gap between the plus and the dot here. Okay. It should be about 7 centimeter apart from each other. Okay. All of you do this right now. Gauri, Roni, Chakrika, Khadija, everyone turn your cameras on in the class.
They can do in the paper which is having a strips like a normal notebook.
Okay, you can do it on that also, but make sure that the distance between the plus and the dot here is about 7 centimeter. Okay, Roni, it's okay. No worries. Now, once you are done doing this now, you will be holding that sheet of paper at about your arm's length like this. Okay, now hold the sheet of paper at about your arm's length like this. Everyone doing this? Yeah, good.
Yes, sir.
Good, Alif. Now close your left eye. Close your left eye and look at the cross on the paper with your right eye. Look at the cross or this plus on the paper with your right eye while you have closed your left eye. So you will see the black dot. Okay. You will see the black dot. Now start to bring the sheet of paper towards you slowly. Right? Bring the sheet of paper towards you, towards yourself closely while you have still kept your left eye closed. So at a certain distance, you will see that the dot will start to disappear. Can everyone observe this thing? Alif, did you
Yes,
observe
sir.
that?
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah. Everyone did this or not? Chakrika, Gauri, Khadija, you guys also did this?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes,
So
sir.
at a certain point, you will see that the dot will no longer be visible. It will no longer be visible right now. So why? Because now the image has fallen on the blind spot of your eye, on the blind spot of your right eye particularly. So at that certain distance, the dot has disappeared because the image has now fallen on the blind spot of your right eye. That's why the dot will be disappearing. Got this now, guys? So that is one thing. Okay, you can do the same activity by closing your right eye also. So now what you can do, all if you do this thing once again. Now close your right eye. Close your right eye and keep looking at the dot. Close your right eye and look at the dot while you have kept the sheet of paper at an arm's length. Now slowly begin the sheet of paper with towards your eye. So at a certain distance, the cross will be now then disappearing, because there what has happened, the image has now fallen on the blind spot of your left eye. Okay, so in this manner you can find the blind spot of both the left and the right eye. Is that thing clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Also, you guys can take a look at this image here. That gives a very clear picture of what we have discussed here. So as the rays of light were falling on this spot where the optic nerve is leaving your retina, so thereby no image formation takes place since the light sensitive cells are absent here, and here also the left and the right eyes are being shown here like this. That is one thing. Then we have another concept called as persistence of vision. Say for example, when you guys look at a bright object and then you close your eyes, so the image of the object will remain in your eyes for a very short duration of time. Take for example, if you were to look at something which is really very bright, and then you immediately close your eyes, so you will observe that the image of that object will remain in your eyes for a very short duration of time, and the image formed on the retina of the eye will not fade away immediately. Does it ever happen with you guys? Have you guys observed this thing happening? Like suddenly you have looked at something very bright, okay, and then immediately you close your eyes. So the image of that object would remain in the retina. It will remain in your eyes for a short duration of time. Yes, Chakrika, Gauri, Pradisha, Roni, everyone,
Yes,
Abdullah,
sir.
and Aleph.
Yes, sir.
So the image of an object that is seen by our eyes would be persisting, would be remaining on our retina for about 1/16th of a second. For about 1/16th of a second. So that's a really very small period of time, isn't it? And that's a short period of time. Even the object would have disappeared from your view. Even if the object is no longer in front of you, but still for about 1/16th of a second, the image of that object will remain on your retina. So that is called as persistence of image on the retina. Okay. You guys have learned about the persistence of hearing also. So here we have the persistence of vision also. Okay. Hmm. So the persistence of image basically says that the image of an object seen by our eyes, seen by our eyes persists or remains, persists or basically remains in the retina for about 1/16th of a second. And even after the object would have disappeared, it would remain there. So even after the object has disappeared from our view, from our view. Now, what happens now? What could be the reason for this? That it remains for about 1/16th of a second to on our retina. So we know that there are some light sensitive cells right now. Light sensitive cells, respectively, rod and cone cells, are present on the surface of on the retina. So these light sensitive cells get stimulated. Okay, now the stimulated light sensitive cells of the retina, it will actually take some time to come back to their original state. Whenever there's a sudden exposure to bright light, so these light sensitive cells will get stimulated, isn't it? These cells will be getting stimulated.
Yes, sir.
And for these cells to get back to its original state, it will require some time now. Getting in my what I'm trying to say. So since it requires some little amount of time to come back to their original state, the image will be persisting on the retina for about 1/16th of a second. Okay. And the ability of our eye to continue to see the image of an object for a very short duration of time, even after the object has, even if the object has disappeared from our view, that is simply what we have learned as persistence of vision. And it is due to the phenomena of persistence of vision that we are able to see movie pictures in a cinema hall. It is because of this property that we're able to see the movies in the cinema hall. Let me explain how. Say, for example, if something were to pass in front of you at a certain speed, okay, so you'll be able to, like, if it is not passing at a very fast speed, you'll be able to track its motion, how it is moving, isn't it? Whether it is moving at a certain speed of slow or fast, etc. Say, for example, if the still pictures of a moving object are flashed on our eyes at a very faster rate. Have you guys seen those videos like where the still pictures of cartoons at different positions will be passed in front of our eyes and it will appear as if it is moving? Let me explain what I'm trying to say here. See, if I were to draw certain cartoon characters on some small card papers like this.
Sir, like flip book.
Like, yeah, like a book. Okay.
Flip book.
Flip
Like
book,
that.
exactly. Flip book. Yeah. I was looking for the term for that term. To see that, for example, if there are different characters like this, for example, Yeah, try to understand what I'm trying to say, although it does not look very good. So say that these are different cartoon characters made on flashcards, for example, for basically on a flipbook, for example. So if it were to be moved in front of your eyes at a very rapid speed, at a very fast rate, so will the character drawn on the page, will it not move like it is, will it not appear as it is moving? Yeah. Yes, Chakrika, Gauri. So if the still pictures, still means something that is at rest. So if the still pictures of a moving object are flashed on our eyes at a very faster rate, in fact, faster than 16 pictures per second. In 1 second, more than 16 pictures are being flashed, are being moved. So then our eye will perceive this object as moving. And that was the concept used in making the cartoons in the 90s and in the early 70s and 80s. You guys know how the cartoons were made earlier? They would be having still pictures and they will move the frame of the still pictures like 16 to 17, more than 16 still pictures were moved in 1 second. So if more than 16 pictures are moved in front of our eyes in just 1 second, so the object will appear to be moving. I hope you guys are able to understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
sir.
So that is one thing. Okay. So important thing to be noted down is that that particularly like how we are able to watch the movies in the cinema hall. So if still pictures are moved in front of our eyes, in front of our eyes at a rate of at a rate faster than 16 pictures per second, then I will perceive the image as moving. Hope that much should be clear. Okay, so that was something. Okay. Also, the movies that we see are actually a number of still pictures that are in the form of a long film, which are taken in proper sequence with a movie cinema. Earlier, it was done in that manner. Okay. So basically, the still pictures will be provided on the screen of a cinema hall at the rate of about 24 pictures per second, which is obviously faster than 16 pictures per second. So with the help of the projector, 24 pictures were flashed in just 1 second. So thereby it will appear as if the characters are in motion. Okay, no? That is one thing. And also the image of one picture seen on the screen will be persisting on the retina till the image of next picture will fall on the screen, and so on it will continue. Getting what I'm saying? I'm saying that the image of one picture that is seen on the screen will persist on the retina till the image of the next picture will be falling on the screen. So like this, it continues. Okay. Hope that should be clear to everyone. And in fact, this is some activity which everyone can do also. By the flick book, you can do this, huh? Like you can take a piece of cardboard and draw some sketches on it. Huh? Like you can do it in this manner, for example. You can take a sheet of paper like this. Okay. With the help of the pencil, do one thing. First of all, draw a bird on this. Draw a bird and then make two holes on the sheet of paper. One hole over here, one hole over here. And insert a straw or insert a pipe into this, or insert a pencil simply. Take a pencil and insert it into this like this. Getting it? How you have to do it? Okay. So you have taken a sheet of cardboard and draw some bird on this and insert this. Okay. Now on the other side of the, like on the back side of the sheet, now it will be like this. On the back side of this, you would have drawn a cage. Getting it? What I'm trying to say? On the back side of this sheet of this cardboard, you would have drawn a cage like this. Okay. while pencil would also be inserted in this. Okay, now these are actually, both of these are the same image. That is the front view and that is the back view of this. On the front portion of the page, you have drawn a bird. On the back portion of the page, you have drawn a cage like this. Now you are going to spin the pencil rapidly. You are going to spin the pencil rapidly. So you guys tell me, what will be your observation? So far, everyone has understood what I have said now? You have
Yes,
taken.
sir.
Yes.
Good. So if you are going to spin the pencil rapidly, what will be your observation? You guys tell me. Will the bird be inside the cage? Will it appear as if the bird is inside the cage?
Yes, sir.
So as you'll be spinning this cardboard rapidly, so you will see that the cardboard, while it will be spinning the rapidly, the bird will appear to be inside the cage. Why it happens? It happens due to the phenomena of persistence of vision here. Okay, no, persistence of vision. So when the cardboard is being spun rapidly, the image of bird persists on our retina for a very short period of time. For how much period of time the image of the bird will persist? 1 upon 15 second, 1 upon 16, 1 upon 18, how much? Yes, Abdullah, Alif, Shakrika, everyone.
Sir, can you repeat?
When this cardboard will be spun rapidly, so the image of the bird and the image of the cage will persist on our eyes for how much time? Will it be 1 upon 15th second, 1 upon 16th second, or 1 upon 18th second?
1 upon
1
16?
16.
Exactly, no? So the image of the bird will be persisting on our retina for a very short period of time. While during that time, the image of the cage will also fall on the retina, right? So because of which it will appear as if the bird will be inside the cage. It will appear as if it is inside the cage. Getting it now? So that is one thing which we have discussed so far. Hope that much should be clear to everyone. Okay. There is one more thing I have to discuss with you guys. That is about this topic here. Least distance of the distinct vision, basically. Okay. See, there's a limit to the range up to which the human eye can see, right? Particularly, there's a limit to a certain length up to which we can see the objects sharply, right now. So the thing is that a normal human eye, okay, now can see the object sharply when it is kept to about a distance of 25 centimeter, to a distance of about 25 centimeter. Okay. Apart from that, there's also one important thing, to a few other important things about the human eye. The farthest point from the eye at which no object can be seen clearly, that will be called as far point of the eye. Okay, now, and we see that since it is not determined, it's not fixed. So we see that the farthest point is infinity. But in reality, can we see to infinity?
No.
Yes, sir. Like we can see the sun.
No, we can see that. Okay, now, but is the sun at an infinite distance from the earth? It is at a certain distance now. Yeah. We see that because we don't have a fixed number. That's why we say that the far point of the eye to which it can see is basically, we see this as infinity. Okay, now, so the farthest point from the eye at which an object can be seen clearly is known as the far point. We can look at the stars also, we can look at the suns also. Okay, certain other planets are also sometimes visible. Getting it? But that does not mean that our eye can look at infinite distance, because they are also at certain distance from the earth. So that is one thing. So the least distance at which our eyes will be able to look at the object sharply, that is about 25 centimeter. Okay. So that is called as the near point of the eye. So the near point of the eye is 25 centimeter, and the far point of the human eye is infinity. Hope that thing should be clear. What's the answer to this question?
25 centimeter.
That is 25 centimeter. Also, it is recommended that in order to read something, if you are reading a
Then
book, yes,
young adults mean like the 18 to the adult age starts from 20 to 30 like that.
repeat again.
So the question is saying that young adult means 20 to 30 like that age.
Okay, young adult you mean to say. Yeah, basically
Yeah.
for young adult with normal vision, basically it means that with age it varies. Okay, now with age it will be varying. Like for example, if there's a old person, so you would have seen an old person, he would be keeping the newspaper very close to his eyes to in order to read the newspaper or to read at the book. You might have observed that. So they are able to look at the objects sharply when they will be keeping the book or the newspaper or some other thing very close to their eyes. So for them it is different. But for a healthy person, for an adult whose eyesight is good, so the least distance of distinct vision will be 25 centimeter. Got it? What I'm trying to say? Why it is being said that for a young adult with normal vision. Okay. So it will be varying. It will vary with age. Got this, no? So a normal eye can see the distant objects and it can see the nearby objects also. Okay, by focusing the image of distant object as well as nearby objects on the retina, and how it will be able to focus the objects that are kept very far away and that are kept nearby by changing the shape of the lens. Haven't we learned about this? The shape of the eye lens is not fixed now. It can be changed, it can be thickened, and it can be flattened with the help of the ciliary muscles. If the ciliary muscles were to stretch it out, then it will become flat. And if the ciliary muscles were to contract it, basically it will become thicker. Getting it? The eye lens will become thicker. So with the change in the thickness of the eye lens, the power of the eye lens is changed, and hence it helps us to focus the distant object and focus the nearby objects on the retina. Is that thing clear to everyone? If not, we will revisit that concept of the eye lens.
Sir, it's clear.
Yes, you're clear.
So that is the thing. Now there are some eye defects. Basically, as the person will become older, so there will be certain kind of defects that will start to occur in the human eye. Okay, so one of the most common defect of the eye is like a person will be only able to look at the objects that are kept nearby. Certain people would be able to look at the objects that are kept far away, but won't be able to look at the objects that are kept nearby. So we have some people suffer from myopia, hypermetropia, cataract, presbyopia, etc. These are some of the common eye defects. Okay. As the person ages, the eye lens loses its focusing power. Its focusing power. Okay. Apart from that, there are several other reasons why the eye lens will not work properly due to some infections. Okay, there could be infections, or there can be change in the shape of the eyeball. Those of you who were present in the previous class, let me know what was the diameter of the eyeball.
2.3 centimeter.
Okay. Yes, Khadija, Chakrika, Gauri, you guys also tell me.
Same, sir.
Exactly.
2.3.
So that is
Correct.
2
You said meter and millimeter.
centimeter. It's centimeter. 2.3 centimeter. Okay. Certain times what happens now, the diameter of the eyeball usually it will decrease and sometimes it can increase also, so that will also affect the vision. One of the most common problem a person will go through is that the eye lens will lose its focusing power with age, so that will obviously going to alter the vision. But apart from that, there are a number of other causes for the defective vision. It could be infection of the eye lens. Okay, it could be change in the shape and the size of the eyeball. etc. So that is one thing. So first we'll be learning about myopia and hyperopia. By the way, it is also called as hypermetropia. Okay, hypermetropia. So some people will not be able to see the objects that are kept at some distance. Okay, no? But although they will be able to see the objects that are kept nearby very clearly. Okay, no? So they are said to have a eye defect called as myopia. They are suffering from a eye defect called as myopia. Okay, let us understand what exactly happens in this. Uh, So in the myopia, it's that kind of defect of the eye in which person cannot see the distant objects clearly. Although he will be able to see the objects that are kept nearby. So sometimes this myopia is also called as short-sightedness or nearsightedness. Short-sightedness or nearsightedness, meaning that the sight of the person is limited to seeing the objects that are kept nearby only. Now there are several reasons for this. Specifically, there are two main reasons for a person to suffer from myopia. Take a look at this two image here. Both of them shows the reason for myopia. In this one, you will see that the eyelids has become thicker. Okay, if the eyelids becomes thicker now, the focusing power of the eyelids increases. Keep that thing in mind. When the eyelids becomes thicker, the focusing power increases. Focusing power means that the the rays of light passing through the lens will be focused before the lens, before the retina. So you guys take a look at this. So you guys tell me, is the ray of light focused on the retina or is it focused before the retina?
Before. Over the retina.
Before the retina, no? Focus will be the point where the rays of light will be meeting. That is where the rays of light will be. That is where the focus is lying. Okay. Now take a look at this one over here. In this one also, same thing is happening. But the slight difference in these two images. Can you guys spot the difference in these two images? What is the difference?
The length is too long.
The length of which? What thing?
For the eye, like it is reflecting too long.
Yes, Corey, Chukrika, Khadija.
So the eye itself is too long. The cornea is bulging out way too much.
Basically, you should be seeing at the eyeball. Okay, no? The whole eyeball is longer in the second image here, right? So myopia will be caused either due to high converging power of the eyelids or due to the eyeball being too long. Eyeball being too long. That is one thing. So a person who is suffering from this condition, the image of the object will be formed before the retina. So that is the reason behind this. We'll also learn how we can cure this problem, how it can be cured. So first of all, let me explain this, that it is the defect of Shikrika, you have an extra class today, na?
Oh yes, so
So it is the defect of eye or defect of vision due to which a person cannot see the distant objects because the focusing.
Can,
Yes.
sir, can you say the reason for getting myopia?
There are two reasons. Okay, now either the focusing power of the eyelids will become will increase. Okay, now the eyelids becomes thicker and the focusing power increases. Another reason for the myopia could be that the eyeball will become longer. Okay, so because of these, what will happen? The rays of light are not being focused on the retina; it is focusing before the retina. So these are the major cause for a person to suffer from myopia. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
So because the focusing power of eye lens increases, or the eyeball elongates. Eyeball elongates basically becomes longer. That is something. Now the question is, how can we cure this problem? How can we correct this problem? So we can correct this problem by using spectacles that contains concave lens. Why not convex lens? Why not convex lens and why concave lens?
Uh, Sir, convex lens will uh, like
It
put
it will.
opposite.
Okay. Anyone else who have to answer anything regarding to this question? Basically, what happens that
Can you,
Mhm.
sir, can you repeat?
My question was that in order to correct this eye defect of myopia, we use a concave lens and not a convex lens. Why is it so that concave lens is used and not a convex lens? Because we know about the convex and the concave lens. Convex lens are
Uh,
called as
Sir, concave lens will focus more into a point of
no.
sight.
Let me explain this. The thing is that the concave lens are diverging lens. Now, concave lenses are diverging lenses, right? They will diverge the rays of light. So the rays of light were incoming like this. Suppose if they were to diverge a little bit, if the rays of light were to pass by this, so they will diverge like this. It will diverge a little bit like this. It will diverge like this. Getting it? What I'm trying to say. Huh? So since the concave lenses are diverging lens, so the rays of light are being diverged, and hence it will diverge further to converge on the retina. Guys, is there some background noise from my side?
Sir.
No,
Okay. So that is one thing. But suppose if we were to use a convex lens, convex lens are already converging lens now. It is going to further increase the power. The rays will now further. Earlier it was meeting at this point. Now, if someone were to use this, the image formation will not take place over here. The rays of light will meet over here, even before this point. Huh? That's why convex lenses are not used, because convex lenses are converging lens. They converges the rays of light, while the concave lens will be diverging the rays of light. So the rays of light were meeting at this point. With the help of the use of spectacles having concave lens, the rays of light will diverge further to meet at this point. Is that thing clear, or you guys are getting confused?
sir,
Mhm.
can you explain it again?
Okay, sure. Let me just write this to correct this defect. Spectacles with concave lens are used. Okay, you guys answer this question to me. When we use a magnifying glass has a convex lens in it. So the rays of light converges to a point now. When you project the sunlight onto the magnifying glass, so the image of the sun forms on the piece of paper. So the rays of light are converging there. So what we know about the convex lens, that it converges the rays of light. As the ray of light will be passing it, white, it will be converging here. Uh, so what we are seeing here in this case now, let me just erase this thing. So what we are seeing here that 1 minute. So the rays of light are converging on this. If you were to now use a convex lens again in this case, so the rays of light will further now it will meet at a point even before this. It will now meet here. Earlier it was meeting here, now it is going to meet here. So that will be further more problematic now. But when we use the concave lens, what we know about the concave lens, as the rays of light will pass through, it will be diverged like this. Uh, So right now, here, our eye lens is a convex lens. It converges the rays of light. But suppose if the rays of light were to diverge a little bit, if the rays of light were to diverge a little bit, and instead of converging at here, if it were to converge here, will the defect be cured or not? The problem will be solved now. We need to diverge the rays of light from here now. From its original path, it needs to be diverged a little bit, isn't it? Yes, Roni, Khadija. Yeah.
Yes.
And we know the property of the concave lens. It diverges the rays of light. That is the reason why this concave lens is used, as it will be diverging the rays of light. Okay, no? So that is the thing. So that's it for today. We'll be continuing with hyperopia or hypermetropia from the next class. The next class will be having this chapter will be finished, and we'll be doing some questions. Okay.
Bye,
Okay then.
sir.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Chakrika.
Bye,
Chakrika,
sir.
you. Yeah. Bye everyone. Chakrika, you will remain in the class.